Hello and welcome to Sparkling Wine with me, Dottie Champagne. We're on our second week here, and it's not been the easiest week so far for myself. I had a very interesting moment earlier on this week, really just within the last 2 days, where I realized I haven't been taking care of myself in the way that I want to be, which that's nothing new. I've been working on that, and honestly that's a big part of why I'm doing this show, is to try to talk to people about their experiences with this and how they get through. But I had a day a couple of days ago where I guess I just didn't eat, or I didn't eat properly, whatever that might mean. And I got quite sick. I very nearly passed it out. I barely made it home. Because I was at work when this happened. And I hadn't had to go into work for, goodness, it must have been at least since before Christmas. So it's been quite a while. And I don't know whether it was that combined with, the not eating and the strain of trying to get out there on time and just being in a different environment for the first time in a while. And I got unimaginably ill, like just so nauseous, where I felt like I was going to throw up, but I could tell I had nothing in my stomach. Like, it was just horrible. So bad that when I was walking in the building, the security concierge at the front desk of our apartment building, he, came running up to me with cookies, which, I mean, if that's going to happen, I mean, it's kind of best case scenario to have somebody run up to you with cookies in that situation. I'm glad I wasn't just like on the street or something. But yeah, it was quite upsetting. And then that night I had a horrible migraine, probably brought on by all of this, and I had trouble keeping anything down, and I just couldn't relax. And I spent the whole next day just in and out of bed trying to rest and get myself feeling well enough to honestly get this show ready for you, which is why it's coming out a little later than scheduled again. But yeah, it put things back in perspective for me once again, that just because I'm not necessarily running around everywhere, I am still quite busy, and I need to be mindful of how I take care of myself when I'm in a state like that. Like, I wasn't doing anything in particular earlier that day where I couldn't have stopped and taken the time to, make sure that I had lunch before I left. It was just, my schedule, my routine hadn't included that for a while. So preparing to be in a place where I couldn't just grab a snack anytime I needed it, I just wasn't ready. And so even today, my mood is low. I'm tired. I don't feel well at all. And when I get like this, I can make impulsive decisions, just out of fatigue and frustration. I'm not as kind to myself or to people around me when I'm like this. I get angry easily. And it's difficult for me to even be talking about it right now because, even though I've only been talking for around 5 minutes, not even, I'm already exhausted and feel like I'm running out of things to say. And it's leading me to, be very critical of myself and the kind of work that I've been doing here on the show, because I want to make sure that I'm putting out something that's genuinely enjoyable and interesting for people. And not just putting it out for the sake of putting it out. I've been quite fortunate that so many people have been able to share their stories with me already. And over the next few weeks, we will be putting out those episodes. And by having all of these conversations, it's really interesting to hear all the things that are repeated so often and how everyone is feeling very much the same at this time. And not just at this time, but all the time. It's quite normal for people, just everyone to struggle with these things. And, there's so often this emphasis on, your diagnosis or your particular, mental health concern that you might have. And it can be very othering for people, I find. So I'm formally diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and there's also the sort of light diagnosis, so as I call it, because it's not quite as firm coming from different medical professionals, but of ADD specifically diagnosed in adulthood, not when I was a child, as well as borderline personality disorder, which is, something that as soon as I went to go see a therapist, she kind of dismissed out of hand as something that I shouldn't be looking into on my own, because there's so much stigma around it. She just didn't want me to get wrapped up in that, because she was afraid it was going to lead to me feeling negatively about myself, which I think is fair, for sure. Although, there are times when I kind of wonder, like, if we'd come at treatment from a perspective of knowing that, like, a psychologist thought that might be the case, fine. And I do actually bring up that particular psychologist in the interview today that I have with Aggie Panda that you'll hear in a little bit. But anyway, it's, just because I have those diagnoses doesn't mean that I'm going through anything so different from somebody who maybe doesn't have that, or hasn't had a doctor say that to them. I think to varying degrees, we all have those things to worry about. And I think it's definitely worth thinking about. Well, anyway, I'm going to keep this intro fairly brief this week, since, I don't have a ton to talk about beyond that. But yeah, just sort of starting things off on a lower note for myself. But I think it also ties into the conversation you're going to hear here in a little bit that we had. Aggie is a really fantastic person, who has a lot of important things to say, I think, specifically coming from an advocacy point of view. They are very well read and very well versed in their own experiences and those of others like them. And I'm very fortunate to have had them in my life. I hope that you don't take my downward mood at the moment as any sort of indication of what this conversation is going to be like, because although we do get into some heavier topics, it's still very very light and fun and joyful, because we are friends, and it is nice to get to talk to somebody who you care about, right? Especially because it's been so long since I myself have talked with Aggie. It was really nice to reconnect a little bit with them. So I'm going to get back to just sitting on my bed with my dog and trying to just feel a little bit better, and hoping that, maybe I can come back to the recording in a bit with some new energy. And I really hope that all of you out there are doing well also, and that you're taking care of yourselves. Definitely don't be like me. Make sure you're eating when you need to eat, and bathing when you need to bathe, and resting when you need to rest. Just make sure you're really listening to what your body is telling you, and what common sense tells you about making sure that you're taking the best care of yourself that you can, because in the end, that's really all you can do. And there's no shame in in some ways mismanaging that at times, like I did, or even if that's sort of the normal for you, is because it's a difficult thing. There's no shame in that at all. So we're going to go now to our interview with Aggie Panda, who you can find on the socials, and who you can see DJ on Twitch, and also do some tarot reading, which they are very talented at. And I hope you enjoy our conversation. So I am joined today by Aggie Panda. How are you doing right now?
That's a loaded question. I'm alive.
That's all right. Feel free to get into it a little bit if you want there about like how you're feeling. And
it's, we're going into now month 10 of a what should be a lockdown and isn't a lockdown. I am on currently day 200 and I believe it is 12 without a hug.
Ugh.
Yeah. I broke my third bong in 4 months this morning.
No.
And yeah, and luckily, I have some good homies who like pulled through and like Ubered me a new one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like completely unexpected, and 7 grams of weed with it. I was very pleased with that. That was such a delightful, legal, perfectly legal. We're in Canada. It's medical and also legal, recreational. So yeah, I'm alive is the end point of that statement.
And so, what have you been getting up to for the past 10 or so months while you've been all alone?
Well, I've been developing a lot of new skills. I currently tech run and DJ for a monthly Zoom show for Clowns Kill Empires. Our next show is February 15th, and it is an all Indigenous clowns cast. I'm really excited about that one. And I also, in addition to that, teaching myself how to DJ, how to tech run a Zoom show. I've also started streaming on Twitch, which has kind of become my bread and butter of what I like to do with my spare time and my regular time. So I read tarot every Tuesday. This upcoming episode will be at 9 p.m. Eastern because my guest is actually in Australia, and my Tuesday will be her Wednesday. So she's actually got Tarot Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm excited.
Have you made a lot of international connections doing this?
Not so much international, a lot in the US, lots in Canada. There's a lot of really cool people on Twitch. There's also a lot of assholes. It's just like anywhere else on the internet.
For sure, for sure. And where can people find you on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Aggie_Panda.
Cool. It looks like you're about to do the bong there, so I'll give you a second.
I'm gonna bong rip, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
It's a very nice bong that they sent. It's called the Session Bong.
Oh. Oh, they got you pink too? For those who can't see, Aggie's clearly a pink person.
Yes, I am obsessed. Oh, I guess I should run down an intro of who I actually am.
Should have asked.
I do that all the time too on my show. I'm like, yeah, everybody knows who this is. I'm like, no, nobody knows who you are. I'm Aggie Panda. I am a pastel princette, disability advocate / loudmouth / I don't know, words are hard. I yell about things on the internet a lot, and make a lot of people angry for no apparent reason. I'm an okay DJ and kind of good tarot reader. Yeah, that's it. If you are unfamiliar with the Aggie Panda brand, wow, there's a lot of weed in my seat cushion.
That's the brand.
Yeah, that's basically the brand. Yeah. I am loud and bright and colorful, and you'll see me a mile away walking down the street, no matter where you are. If you know, like, you don't even have to know me. You'll see me. You'll know.
And the fact that you preface that you make people angry on the internet, when all I think of when I think of Aggie, by the way, is just bringing everyone joy everywhere that they go, because they're just so
funny.
Yeah, they're just so happy and beautiful all the time. Every time I see them.
Thank you. No, it's been more of lately that I've been pissing people off on the internet because I keep yelling about the fact that you people think you're safe with COVID, but you're not.
Exactly.
Like, you're not. Like, I don't care if you have antibodies. Anyways, I'm not going to go off on that tangent yet.
Yeah, that's a loaded topic for everyone, but yeah. But I mean, that's a big part of what's been making people upset lately, and what contributes to a lot of mental health struggles for folks, right?
Mental health, physical health for me, all the things. I've like I said just this morning, I broke another bong because whatever degenerative nerve disorder that I have in my body is progressing quite rapidly because I don't have access to the things I would use to regulate it normally because of COVID. Thank you, COVID. So
Mm.
that's gonna be it's gonna be a very interesting year for me this year. We'll see if I might qualify for a power chair to be funded this year if my body fails. So
Oh.
bright side, power chair,
I mean, power chair would be useful, would be good.
right?
It's too bad it
Right?
can't be funded now already, but like it's too bad you'd have to be.
They wouldn't even pay for my manual chair when I needed it.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of, this is a whole other rant for a whole other time, but Canadian healthcare, as great it is I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to like disparage the name of Canadian healthcare, but there is so much lacking when it comes to fixing the root of the problem versus looking at all of your symptoms and just treating the symptoms as they come up.
Oh yes, no, I've found that, and I was saying something similar on another show that I appeared on actually fairly recently, because the gentleman I was talking to, he is American, so isn't aware of what the Canadian healthcare system is like, and like a lot of people think we just get whatever we want whenever we want it for whatever might
Oh,
be like preventative included, like definitely not.
oh my God, preventative? I freaking wish. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure that I had to have, and like, I don't know if I'm breaking my own doctor patient confidentiality by talking about this out loud, but I think it's a thing that needs to be talked about more
Mm-hmm.
often, in that I went to my GP because like I'm struggling right now, like emotionally, physically, pain wise, everything sucks. So I went to my GP, and the thing that fucking sucks about going to your GP is that most GPs are so unfamiliar with, like, I am currently on experimental pain treatments already. Like, I'm already top tier experimental. I'm taking naltrexone for pain treatment. Like, I'm already off labeling shit. So I'm like, where do we go from here now that this is not working? And she's just like, I'll refer you back to the clinic and the pain clinic, and we'll see. Um, and that's like, and I understand, like, that's definitely, like, I would rather her not have to try and like figure out what her own next steps are with me are, but like, that's so frustrating that it's just like a process that I have to keep going back to these people who are just like, here's a thing, try the thing, and then don't come back because we don't have space for you. It's what it comes down to, is they don't have room to treat you.
Yeah, it's such a struggle, especially when it's something that is, kind of a big unknown, right? When you're touching on all kinds of stuff that, like, I mean, for myself, it's like all of my stomach issues, and then my mental health situation is like crazy, and who knows if it needs to be medicated differently than it is or whatever, and just finding different ways to like to take care of that. Like I'm on 3 different dosages of a medication because like they don't even know how to do that, and like that one's makes me sleepy, so they put me on another one that kind of make me more awake, and that one makes my heart race too much, so I have to take less of it, and it's like it's all over the phone with my doctor right now, and
Yeah,
that's
because and again, because no access because of COVID.
exactly, yeah, like so she can't even see what I'm talking about, and I mean last time I went in to go get my dose changed, like she wasn't even available. It was a different doctor because she was on maternity leave with totally fair. But
And
like,
this is the same problem I'm facing with my GP, is that
yeah,
my GP is currently on mat leave, so the replacement is like, I can't like,
mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for? I can't um I can't confidently
Yeah.
prescribe anything to you. Like, if I'm sure if it was my old regular GP, if I had suggested the treatment that I suggested,
Mhm.
because she knows, and she knows all of the history of all of the drugs that I've been through,
Mhm.
she would be like, I know nothing about this, but I trust you enough that I will say, yeah, let's do it.
Mhm.
Like, but so she's still gone on mat leave, so unfortunately I have to wait for the pain clinic.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure like what the sort of like what's the word for it, but the restrictions on the medicine that you're on, but like you get treated differently depending on what you're going in for, which I'm sure lots of people are aware of, right? And like I mean, when I was going in to see this other doctor the time before last, which is the last time I was physically in a doctor's office, I think, but it might have been one of them. Anyway, like I had gone in,
One
I
of
had
them, yeah.
been I was with withdrawals from my medication because I wasn't able to see her in time, and I had also been just unceremoniously fired from my job that day. So like I was a mess.
You were a mess,
I
yeah.
looked like a total wreck. Like I'd been crying all morning, and then I finally got in there and I was like, I just need you because I take too many pills and it feels bad, and can you just fix it? And she was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not giving you any more of your medication. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Are you being loud back there?
Yes, yeah, my dog just pushed something off the bed. She
Of
likes to do that.
course. Of course. Yeah, no, but you definitely get judged by like the drugs, especially like I'm basically on a medication that's meant for hardcore alcoholics to come off of alcohol.
Mm.
So when I say that to people, they're like, are you okay? Are you no, motherfucker, of course I'm not okay. I'm on naltrexone. That's a yeah. Like yeah, no, I'm not okay. Thank you for like you're gonna judge me for taking naltrexone now? Thank you. On
Yeah.
top of everything.
Oh,
Suck my
exactly. Like, I mean, the pill I'm on now, venlafaxine for people who know what it's like. Yeah.
hey, I
Eh,
recognize that name.
yeah, I take a lot of that. Like they've had to dose me way up on it, and it's what my nana was taking at one point for like some sort of I don't even remember what she said it was for, but like it was had to do with the fact she'd been in a car accident, and it was helping regulate stuff after that. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm on the post car accident drug.
It's then the fact I can't recall if they've tried to get me on it like
Mhm.
several times.
Yeah, I don't remember what they had her on it for, but yeah,
Oh
she
yeah,
was like, yeah,
it's the SNRI. It's
yeah.
the it was brand name Zeldox when I
Mm.
took it. Um
Oh,
I've been, and that's the other thing, like I've literally like this is just going to be a giant medical rant, isn't it? This
that's
is what this
okay.
whole show is going to be. I have been severely misdiagnosed over decades. I was diagnosed very before I should have been with borderline personality disorder. And I have this theory about AFAB people and borderline personality disorder and people who were diagnosed as borderline personality disorder before the DSMV recommended age, which is, by the way, 18/21. Actually, they're like, it should be, your brain should be fully developed. And I got diagnosed at 16. I had that diagnosis revoked at age 35 finally because my psychiatrist listened to me regale. I had to go in for a psych evaluation for this same pain clinic. They'll probably send me for another one now too, so that's great. Um I got the psych evaluation. I sat down, I regaled my entire life story to the psychiatrist as you do in the psych evaluation, and she goes, "Oh honey, nobody told you this entire time that you were autistic?" And I said, I kind of figured it, but it's nice to hear the confirmation.
Yeah, it's nice when they tell you things, right?
Literally spent 2 decades being over medicated on SSRIs and SNRIs because they were like, no, you have a chemical imbalance that makes you manipulative. And I'm like, no, my brain don't work. Please fix. Like you said, like,
Yeah.
please fix.
Whatever the
Like,
thing is wrong, I don't know, just do it so that it doesn't hurt.
and getting that autism diagnosis, Jesus fucking Christ, changed my life entirely.
Oh, well, like this past year, I was tentatively diagnosed with ADD, which kind of tracks. And I mean, my brother was diagnosed with something similar when he was younger, but like we had our parents, but
But
specifically my father, like fight against us on that all through growing up. I saw him like maybe my dad like maybe a month or two after I was told by my doctor that I might have ADD and let's try some medication for that. And he was like, "No, you don't have anything wrong with you. You just can't handle pressure. You just can't function under pressure." And I was like,
but 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 what is that?
"Yeah, but what does
Like,
that mean? Like what
yeah, like what, like
if I can't function under pressure, how do we deal with that?" Because
because pressure is constant.
yeah.
Like there's this is exactly what I'm saying. Like the big thing about my disorder. So the history is that I have they finally put a name on it. It is not actually fibromyalgia. They've finally given me the diagnosis of myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is otherwise known as chronic fatigue syndrome. Basically, the only treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome is don't be stressed.
Wow. Why hadn't you tried just not being stressed before? It seems like that would have just, fixed it.
Just don't be stressed.
Just
In,
don't be stressed.
in a motherfucking panoramic. Like, I, and to be fair, it took me this long to crack. Like, I've been doing pretty well until like the last month or so. I'd had a couple, like, I've developed what I like to call COVID PTSD, in which if I see people doing dumb shit, I spiral. I have panic attacks. It's triggering as hell. I can't watch it. Um, I just don't understand. Like, we've literally been in this for almost a year now. How people don't understand, like, I had people I met I have these friends, and they had like a small birthday celebration for somebody in their family.
Oh my goodness.
And that this is the thing, they had been perfectly safe the whole time. And then this small gathering, one person had it or contracted it on the way, possibly even to the gathering. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Like,
There you go. It just takes the one time.
I had a friend who caught it because her condo building has forced shared air,
Oh my god.
and somebody was breaking rules.
So just yeah, that's just affected your whole building now.
The whole building. Yep.
Good job.
So I struggle with watching people try and justify basically anything at this point with, but it's for my mental health, because I'm like in this 300 square foot apartment breaking bongs and and
Yeah, like
like,
nobody's doing well. Like, it's not like a good time for anyone.
no, and like I just so yeah, the whole thing about not being stressed and coming back to myalgic encephalomyelitis and this whole thing is that the other thing about COVID is that apparently what it is causing in people who have the long form COVID is very similar to what I have.
Oh,
And so watching people risk this is literally me, like, it's a personal hellscape. It's like, oh, you watch me struggle. You watch me suffer. But you're willing to put yourself at that risk.
cuz they just don't believe it's going to happen.
And that's it, that's just it. And I shared a post yesterday, and I've been thinking about it nonstop, because it was like this is why disability simulations don't work, because people get scared, and the moment they get scared, they just run back to their privilege. And instead of embracing and realizing that there are ways to adapt, because so many of us have fucking had to, they run scared. They run scared back to their privilege. But what they don't realize is that one day that privilege could be gone anyways. They should be preparing for this. It takes nothing to become disabled. I'm living proof of this. I don't know if I was born this way. It may have been a virus. It may have been something that happened in my youth. It may be trauma. I don't know. They can't figure it out. But I used to walk 5 kilometers each way to and from work. And now I can't get up and down my stairs. Yeah. And that's not because of COVID, but it's because of myalgic encephalomyelitis, which, like, even in asymptomatic people, they're saying we haven't seen what's going to happen yet.
So it's still so new. Like, it feels like it's been going on for like ever, but it's still just so.
It's a year. We just passed a year since the first case. The first known case, I should say, because there was an illness circulating the US last year that they had started calling walking pneumonia, that had actually started before anything came from Wuhan. And it was very similar to COVID. So
yeah, I've said quite a few times now that, like, I got something just after Christmas-ish time last year that, like, feels very much like it may have been a very mild case. And that's mild is subjective, because, like, I was sick for weeks and weeks and weeks, and, like, just because of, you know, the way life works, I did have to go into work a couple of times with it, but I was super careful and, like, stayed really far away from people, so luckily nobody else caught whatever it was I had. But, like, I got that from my family at Christmas. And we were at my grandparents' house. My grandpa got it, but thank goodness nothing bad happened to him. If my grandmother had gotten even that, let alone COVID,
it would have been,
she would have been done, because, like, she smoked so much when she was younger that, like, she almost had
like
emphysema.
COPD.
Yeah. Like, she's so close. Like, she can't breathe when it gets a little hot. Like, it's like, you know, it's horrible. It's so frightening. And then to see people just not even take precautions.
They're like traveling. They're flying.
I mean, and
have you ever been on a plane? Have you ever been on a plane in your life?
I have.
Have you ever been on a plane and not gotten sick after being on a plane?
Like, I mean, it's all shared air. You're gonna get something if somebody's sick. Like, it's
and they didn't clean the planes before. Like, I love how the whole thing with airlines now is like, now we actually clean our planes, and I'm like,
oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. I mean, like, at least upside, all of the bars and restaurants, when we can reopen, will be so clean, probably for the first time ever. Hopefully.
Oh my God. Hopefully. Like, shout out to everybody who was able to pivot and, like, do something creative. I have been following, like, Bar Mordecai specifically, and their, like, creative cocktail kits I think are really awesome. They even did mocktail ones for non-drinkers, like, and then they also launched, like, a virtual, like, pasta restaurant.
Yeah, I saw that.
Super cute. Like, they sell chicken dinos in the kids menu. I'm like, yo, that's awesome. Like, I and these are the things I think about a lot right now, is because I saw so many restaurants along St. Clair who, like, literally just resurrected buildings outside and were, like, still struggling, Meanwhile, these people who have like been like, okay, we're gonna hunker down, we're gonna like absolutely abide by every possible rule that we can, and like if you follow Christine, who works at Bar Mordecai, her Instagram stories are a wealth of comedic gold about COVID, honestly. One of my absolute favorite Instagram accounts, who she's just also just a very sweet and kind person and knows a lot about alcohol. She's very uh I like I don't drink, and like I love reading her stuff about alcohol because it's just so interesting. Like that's how you know that you're a good content curator, because like I am not her target market at all. So
But she still knows what's up, and that's
she's
what's important, for her business specifically, is like she clearly knows a lot about what she's talking about, doing a good job. Like, I mean, that's part of what my job still is now, is doing that for a bar restaurant group. And it's like every time you have to do a pivot, it's
it's
difficult, right?
it's so difficult. It's so difficult. And like shout out like all the different types of pivot I've seen.
Oh, so
Like
many.
because like things like friends who were like, full-time entertainers finding themselves full-time jobs after this, like in things that they like doing
Mm-hmm.
still. Like it's not like a sufferable job that they're doing. It's literally like I what is still open that I would enjoy doing, I'm going to apply for a bunch of shit in that field. And then I'm like, yo, that is a pivot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like everybody, like I loved going to Twitch. Man, Twitch has been like streaming is a lot of fun. If only because it keeps me from like being alone with my thoughts for like 24 hours a day at least.
I've been watching a lot more of that stuff, and like I've set up a channel just like thinking about it, but I haven't done, because like I don't know what to stream. And I'm just like, I did, but I want to participate. It's one of those things, right?
Yo, start there though. Like
Mm-hmm.
start by participating. Start by like showing up in people's chats and like introducing yourself and
Mm-hmm.
being a friend. That's how I got started. I didn't just jump into streaming. I
Mm-hmm.
was, oh god, no. I'm a double Virgo Capricorn moon. I somebody would hate me and I would cry all day. Like no, 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 no. I I started going. So the story of how I joined Twitch was basically a bunch of DJs that I really liked were doing like Instagram lives at the beginning of lockdown. And like Instagram was like, hell no, copyrighted music, get bent.
They have
So
a
they were
whole
like,
music feature. Come on, Instagram.
yeah, no, they're like, nah, you can't play copyrighted music on your own thing. No, you don't own it. It's too bad. Um, so all the homies were like, all right, we're gonna try this Twitch thing. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. So it started with JMKM and Grump, two Toronto legends. And then from there, like I just started finding just DJs everywhere. Like I follow so many amazing DJs that I could not give you a top 5 if I had to. But I'm like, but also there's a few of them who are like definitely like stand out. So off the top of my head, Solo Re Solo on Twitch, Junk Food DJ, Katarama with a K, Katarama. I love Erica Landia. Her whole aesthetic is adorable. I'm like, who else do I need to like? No, that's about it right now. Those are like my like, other than like JM and Grump, who are like the homies, the like hold it downs, the like, oh, Adobo DMV. That's the other one. These are like my like safe streams. These are like the homies, the cool people. They play the best tunes. They're the ones. if you are going to follow anybody on Twitch, those are the ones, DJs wise.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other things because there's like so much on Twitch.
Yeah, there's everything there. Like, I mean, I've been watching a lot of like podcasts that I like end up on Twitch, like doing live shows.
Oh, nice.
Right, which so like that I've been thinking about once I figure out how this formula is working better, maybe doing some Twitch live of this show.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Basically what I do on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all learning as we go.
Exactly though. Like it's literally just been like such a good way to it's been funny. Like I'm a very like astrology focused person. I read tarot. I believe in a lot of like universal truths and universal like lineage and like but like all of my like past years worth of like horoscopes and forecasts and tarot readings and everything have all been saying the same kind of like, this is your time to take all of those skills that you have learned from birth and apply them to what you are doing right now. And I'm like, you're not wrong. Like, you're absolutely not wrong. Everything I've learned.
Yeah, no, the world right now is really just about, you know, taking what you have around you and using it rather than, you know, I mean, and there are opportunities to like, and I say go out, but I don't mean go out in the actual world. I mean, like just to learn
like,
new things.
To get yourself, yourself out and learn things. And like there's everything's online now. Remember when they told us disabled people that like nothing could be done online? Yeah, everything is online now. It's cool though, because like if you guys try and take that away from us, we will break your internet because we know how to do that.
Oh yeah, no, like I have always been like an inside person. I like to be at my house. Like I've been saying this since the beginning. It's like there are aspects of this that I certainly don't mind because I'm in some ways already kind of used to it. You know, like I just miss having the option to be a human and to like be around other people, but I get it.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Like I miss the option. Like it was around this time like last year, or like I guess December last year, that I like had started like having more people over to the apartment last time, like after the whole thing that happened in 2019 and the leaving that behind. But like I'd like started just having people over and stuff, and like it's so wild to me how much it takes to convince people to come see you even when you're a fucking cripple. Like, and like and like these same people were the people who like wouldn't check if a restaurant was accessible. You know, like, and like looking back at that now is making me realize that I'm like, because now I have people who will Uber me a bong because my bong broke, and who like do regular drop-offs of like groceries and I mean drop-offs, like we're not contacting because they know that it is dangerous for me. Like, you know, and like, and the fact that it took me a pandemic to realize like how I was trying to impress people who didn't even care about my well-being.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Anyways, this has been a long ADHD stream of thought medically.
That's okay. That's kind of what I'm going for here anyway. Just to, you know, let feelings come out and see where we're at, right? Because like I mean, on that point, like I mean, I totally get what you're saying with that, because I am honestly very bad at keeping in touch with people, just because just am, right? And so it's
Yep.
this past little while has really shown me like who I'm able to keep around and like who's
And
gonna
like,
check and
and this is the thing is that like there's all of us that are all bad. We're all bad at it, but it's like you and I, it's never going to be like a friendship that ends. It's going to be like we're going to touch base when we are both able to touch base because
exactly.
we both understand each other's disabilities. And
Mhm.
that's the type of people you want to keep in your fucking life. For real.
Exactly. Like yeah, because
Ugh.
it's not like I'm like anybody who I still talk to now is like not down to talk. Like I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. Yo, I keep saying these things and like it's funny because I I am very open. I'm an open book when it comes to all the things to do with like my disability and my mental health and my physical health and everything like that. And like it's so funny because I find myself constantly apologizing for it because it's not things people like to hear. People like happy endings. People like when disabled people overcome their disabilities.
Mm,
People like when you become a productive member of society again.
yeah.
People really like that. Despite even being like the most anti-capitalist people really like that when it happens.
Oh yeah, and they're so reluctant to be critical of any narrative that talks about like because I mean because what is it? Because I think about this one a lot. That movie that came out a couple years ago with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he played that guy who lost his legs in the Boston bombing.
Oh
Yeah, like
yeah.
I don't know that guy and I didn't see that movie, but the way that the trailers portrayed
Yeah.
it was like he was just the angriest man and
I
like
just
his
blocked that out
life
of my
was
head.
over. And I was like if he could just like yes, deal with a lot of stuff for sure. It's not easy. You're allowed to be angry. But oh my god, it's like as though he were not a good person until
He lost
he
his
he
legs,
lost his
right?
legs and then he
And
healed
then
and then he
he's
got better and then he was an awesome man. And I'm like, what?
yeah, no, that's I bet he's pretty angry still.
Oh yeah.
Not I'm gonna go out on oh that's a horrible thing to say. I was about to say I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Oh. It's okay.
Wow.
Oh.
But I'm just gonna put it out there and say that he's probably still a pretty angry guy. He lost his legs.
Yeah. Like I mean definitely fair to be mad, but yeah, even like it was just the trailer. I didn't even want to see the movie because I was like this
Oh no,
just
I
painted
don't
it
watch
so
I don't watch any movies about disabled people unless they're made by disabled people, which
mhm.
doesn't fucking happen because disabled people don't have the energy to make their own narratives.
Yep.
Shout out to the able-bodied allies who actually do take the time to listen and they're so few and far between, but it's like the ones who are like I hear you and like what can I do? And I'm like fight, like yell as loud as I am about these things because if you if my voice is loud, your voice is probably 10 times louder.
Mhm.
I'm very little and small and weak and disabled. If you think I'm loud, you should meet my able-bodied alternate universe Aggie.
I'm
Um,
sure they're like very powerful.
I need to go grab a drink. I forgot to do that before we started
All good.
recording.
We can
So
hold on.
hold on
Yeah.
1 second.
Cool. Well, Aggie's out of the room here. I just turned around and Mimosa has been eating my headphones. A different pair, not the pair I'm wearing to record this. So, I mean, I think we're learning that she gets really mad when I'm on these calls. She's thrashing around behind me now with a toy again.
Alrighty. And I'm gonna do a quick bong before we get back to things.
That was perfect timing for you to step away because I turned around to check on the dog and she was just like full on eating this pair of headphones on the bed. Like, She just doesn't like when I talk to people. Mm.
No, it's not. It's your time. It's my time. It's puppy time. It's not people time. It's puppy time.
No, I just let her be in here and be part of the recording, and because otherwise she's gonna be scratching at
Yeah.
the door doing the same thing. So I mean,
Ugh, yeah. Well, dogs are like people,
yeah,
but
I don't
dogs.
know.
I don't know. I was trying to say something philosophical comparing dogs and kids, but then I know how mad people get when you do
If
that.
somebody's gonna be mad about that, I just don't even really have time for them, honestly. Like,
Like I understand dogs are not humans.
mm-hmm.
I get that. But you still have to take care of a dog.
Yep.
So I'm just like it's
Like,
fine.
because
It's fine.
nobody is trying to belittle somebody's struggle as a parent or, how difficult that is.
No.
That's not what it is.
No, not at all.
No.
But like we're not like saying that it's as like I'm not even saying it's as hard to be a pet owner as it is to be a parent because it's not at
No.
all because like everything you do influences a child. That's
Mm.
fucking insane. That's why I had my uterus removed. My guy like fucking yikes. Um but
Yeah, but like there are people who can't parent or like just
like
know they wouldn't be good at parenting. Like I know I'd be a horrible parent, but I'm a good pet parent, which is a different thing.
I'd be a horrible I yes. I'm not even a good pet parent. So like I don't even do that. I just pet sit for people.
There you
Like
go.
I'm the funkle. I'm the fun uncle. I'm the funkle is what we've decided is the new gender neutral term. Um
I like Funkle. I also like Funt. Fun Ant.
Funt. It sounds like
It sounds dirty,
something
which is why I
else.
like it.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. um but like yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just such a fucking I talk about I talk about it on my
Yeah.
show a lot and it's such a fucking farce, but did you know that nobody cares what you do?
Yeah.
Like actually?
Like yeah, there's all this talk about
Like
like in the media about like, oh, there's cancel culture and you can't say anything and you can't do anything. And I'm like, no, that's not true. You can say a lot of stuff.
I'm not even I'm not even specifically talking about that because like yeah, like cancel culture doesn't actually exist. Everybody who gets canceled ends up getting $1 million Netflix
Mhm.
special like suck my dick. No. Cancel culture is not a thing. But what I mean is like people are so afraid of being
Mm.
themselves and like being their true selves. And like even showing like ugly sides of themselves. Like people are so afraid of what other people think. But like here's some big fucking facts. Nobody cares. Everybody on this planet is so self-centered that like they don't care. And
You're just better to just be yourself and try to be happy as you.
yeah,
Like there's no
yeah,
point.
like there's no point in like struggling and masking. Like this is the whole thing about, and I'm circling back, and this is why I'm pretty sure I have ADD as well as autism. Like my doctors were like, yeah, probably we're just not gonna, and I'm like, yeah, it's fair, I'm not getting
Mhm.
medicated anyways, it's fine. But when I got the autism diagnosis, it kind of mentally gave me permission to go, as Future says, fuck it, mask off. Like I stopped caring what anybody thought of me. That was the year that I purged like all of my closet and started buying only pastel and rainbow clothing. That was the year that I like started like transforming my apartment into this. Like, like I I finally just said fuck it and was like, who am I trying to impress? Whose rules am I trying to
Mhm.
live by? Who am like
Yeah, like there's no reason to try and pretend or deny pieces of yourself. Like, and I catch myself doing it all the time, even though I know that. Like, it's something that's so built into so many of us. You have to like fight it really hard, and like, and that's a big part of what I'm trying to do with this show is to just talk to different people and see where they're at with
How
that,
they do
how
that.
they do that, right?
Yeah.
Because I fucked if I know, right? I have no idea. You know,
It's still really difficult. It's still really difficult. There are definitely times where I find myself like still stifling pieces of myself because just it's not even to satiate anybody else. It's more to keep the peace, so to speak.
yeah.
Cuz like I'm a robe. I said it earlier. I make people angry on the internet. I'm a robe wrestler. I like to ruffle people's jimmies because I talk about things that people don't want to hear. And again, all of this loops back together to all of the same shit that I've been saying for this entire stream of consciousness. Is that not every human has a happy ending. We've definitely seen a lot of that this year, but becoming aware of your own mortality and your own like disintegration, I suppose is a good word for it. It's incredibly scary, but kind of empowering.
It is kind of letting yourself fall apart so that you can come back together isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah, like and like there are chances that some of the things that have happened to me over the past month are not going to be repaired. Like the numbness that has started descending down my left arm now that was in my right arm and leg previously, that the neurologist still can't find anything that's causing it, but you know, it's there. That may be a new permanent thing, and that's, you know, I thought I had a little bit longer before I started losing more, but I'm pretty sure the circumstances that I've been thrown into because of COVID have not been helping to contribute to the cessation of my my illness, despite the fact that early last year I like did like a 10-kilometer walk again. Like I was in a place at that point because I was still riding off of that same, like I was still like in an able-bodied place, basically. Like I was mentally very well. I was physically like exercising and like eating more properly, and like I could digest, and like my cortisol levels were down because I wasn't stressed.
Yeah.
And then all the stress hits, and then the body disintegrates, because that's literally my illness, is that once my cortisol levels go up, my nerves are just shot. It's
like it's just wild. It's
yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like I have no idea, and nobody does, and it's horrible.
Weird. Why does this exist? Why is my human body attacking itself because of cortisol?
Unbelievable. Just ugh.
Nobody, not even doctors, scientists can't even explain it. The best solution they have for me is don't be stressed. And like I get it. Like I really do. Like because I mean, like there's things that you can do to like naturally reduce your cortisol levels, right? Like, you know, like hang out with your friends and get hugs, and apparently sex is a good one. I don't know. I wouldn't know. What's that? Like all of the things that I would have naturally gravitated to help reduce my stress, to help keep me from being constantly triggered, because that's another thing with the PTSD. I almost said the wow. Words are hard. With the PTSD, like that's just constantly triggering, and like that's your cortisol going up and up and up and up and up. Like being triggered is flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline too, which is also not good.
No. Oh boy.
So like that's basically been my last year. Like I mean, I went from doing like 10K walks and like being able to manage my illness to like breaking 3 bongs in 4 months because my hands don't work. I'm holding this Coke and I should probably not be holding it. Like I do that a lot too. That's how I spill it a lot too. Like I spill a lot. Like I used to just think I was clumsy, but it turns out that it's literally just my hands stop
Yep.
working.
No, I've seen that in people for different reasons before, but yeah, isn't that just horrible? Because like, I mean, and I sometimes wonder because my dad has what's called Dupuytren's contracture syndrome, where your tendons in your hand, or in him now his feet, it can happen in honestly any part of your body, but for him it started in his hands, and they just start to shorten and curl in, so his fingers are like almost in a fist, and that's genetic.
Yeah.
My grandparents on that side both have it, more mild than him. He got double hit. So then I'll probably get that.
You'll probably get a mild
Yeah, I'll
case
probably
of
get
it.
that.
So hopefully, I wonder if if there's like preemptive physiotherapy you can do
I
though
yeah,
to
I don't
keep
know.
it.
And like the thing with him is that like he's tried all the things. He went and got experimental surgery, like all that stuff.
Yeah, to try and get them like
Yeah, like
separated
he's
and
got
stuff.
one finger that's
Yeah.
fucked up forever now because they just totally fucked it. And then the rest of his hand, he has to keep going for different stuff all the time. And like nobody will touch his feet because you don't normally get it in your feet. It's weird to get it in your feet.
Yeah.
And like they're like, no, not touching them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
terrified
Yeah.
constantly. I'm like, when is my hand gonna go
Yeah.
away? Like, when am I just gonna have fists, right? Just because like it also looks painful,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yep. I'm
there
sure it
were
is. I'm sure it
there was a
absolutely.
time I remember when I was quite young, because like he is also somebody who hasn't dealt with his trauma in a healthy way, so he hasn't gotten any help for any of this, by the way.
Of
So
course.
when I
Of
was a child, I
course.
remember sitting at the kitchen table and he was just staring at his hand, like sort of propped up on the table, like thinking. You could tell he was thinking something, and then he just kind of quietly just said to me, like, "Can you go get the hammer?" Because he was gonna try and like pound his fingers down, because he thought that if he did that, like if he broke the bones and stretched it out, that then it would heal back. And I was like, "That's not how that works, and I'm not doing this." No.
Wow, that is a relatable feel though. Like that's things
Yep.
I like. Yeah, yeah. Maybe not
Yeah.
hammers for me, but like yeah, there's been some.
But like I've had that feeling about things before. Like I understand where his brain was in that
Yep,
moment,
yep.
but like he had like an impulse where he was like, "This is gonna happen."
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh
that's
God.
really the scariest part is when you're dealing with chronic illnesses is because like the like okay, so like we talk about it is Bell Let's Talk Day as well. So like fuck it. Let's
It
do
is.
this.
Yeah.
We talk about mental health a lot still. Like I know it's still stigmatized, but like it's still more outwardly common than talking about physical health ailments. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
actually, like the I'm very lucky because I choose to follow people. I choose to follow a ton of disabled people because that's just like I think it's important. So I see things like stomas and mastectomies and drainage bags and feeding tubes and things like that absolutely need to be normalized because again could happen to
Mm-hmm.
anybody. And so I
Yep.
just think that it's so and where I was going with this is that we constantly talk about mental health and where everybody at is their mental health and their mental health and their place and is mental health as a society issue, blah blah blah, is it an individual issue? I got fucked over mental health wise because nobody believed in my physical illness, so they thought I was faking it. And like
Which happens to so many people so often. Like it's horrible.
like why like and this is why I'm saying we need to start normalize talking about chronic illness and illnesses that cannot be cured and illnesses that cannot be healed or helped or that do not have a happy ending because there are there's so many of us like diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much talk these past couple of years about like how people can't afford their diabetes medication in the States, right? But like that's always kind of been the case. Like, yeah, that's bad. Can we talk about what we do about it?
Can we can we fix it? Can we like diabetes is a disability technically. It's your body's inability to make insulin. Like that's the definition of a disability is your body's inability to do something that a body would naturally do.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's and so like for people who are afraid to identify themselves as disabled, I'm giving you permission because like use it to your advantage and normalize it and say it proudly because like yeah, I'm a fucking cripple. So what? I'm also like 8 million other amazing things and none of that changes the fact that I'm a cripple either.
Like your life isn't over. It's not
Like
like
I don't have to
you're like
overcome the crippleness to be these other things. They can
exactly.
exist in conjunction with each other. And like there is a good chance I will get sicker over time. There is a good chance that I will lose more faculties over time. And I really hope that I don't lose more people in that time because that's horrifying if that happens, but I'm sure it will happen because that's again, people do not like to see unhappy endings. But is my ending unhappy if I'm like still trying to live the best possible life for me? Like just because I'm not like a productive society. Again, it comes back to that judgment, right? I stopped caring. I stopped caring. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fucking capitalism sucks me dry, but like we've figured that out for the most part for now. Um but I just don't care. Like I'm going to die one day probably because of my illness. Like and and before that I may
Yeah.
suffer more, which fucking sucks. Like I've thought about that. I've done the cost risk analysis of the suffering and like there's a certain point where I'll approach my doctors again because it's already happened once. Um but like there's a certain point where I'll approach my doctors and ask for a right to die. Um just to be like this isn't going to get better, so like let's fucking go. Like there's no I'm fulfilled. I'm done. I'm happy. Like let's go. Like there will be a point in that. And like you know what's really fucking cool? I get to decide that. Shout out Canada. Um
Yeah, like I mean that's something that like when that ruling came down that was going to be allowed was I was really happy to hear that happened because
it's
it is.
it's still an incredibly difficult process, of
Oh
course,
yes.
because they don't want to make it like they don't want to make it like I'm 36 years old and I was considering hitting them up last week because of where I was mentally. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to get better by the end of COVID. So I think I want to die. But then I like logicked myself out of it. So like I'm, you know,
Mm-hmm. Like there are checks and balances in place for you there.
literally there are like that's exactly it. They were like they have a thing on their website. They're like, are you sure though? Like they're like you're like they ask you like they ask you your age, they ask you these questions. They're like okay, but like are you really sure? Are you really sure? And it can seem a little patronizing sometimes because like sometimes yes I am really sure, but sometimes I'm not really sure and I just need somebody to
Yeah.
tell me that I'm not sure.
That's really important because I mean both in
And
that situation and
they're
then
really
larger society wise, like, because there have been times when I've been in that place too, right? And you just need someone to just remind you that you're
Yeah.
not really sure.
Yeah. And I especially love the Ontario Society is really good for that. But also still like knowing that I have that in my back pocket for when my legs stop working for good and my arms stop working for good and my like because
Yeah.
these are things that are possibly an inevitability in my life. We don't know when. And hey, maybe by the time it happens the mech suits will be here and then I won't want to die. I'll just get into a mech suit and that's cool. That's what I'm holding out for at this point.
The mech suit would be perfect. I think that's coming. Don't give up on the mech
It's
suit.
it's it exists. So I've already seen the technology. It's already but words are hard. It's military grade, right? Like it's basically billions of dollars to purchase one at this point. But they plugged it into a paraplegic guy's head and he can walk. He's got a robot body now, and I'm like, whoa, I need this.
It's
Like,
coming. It'll come one
I need
day.
this. It's coming. So this is the thing, and I use this comparison. I feel like I use this comparison when I was talking to somebody else, and I don't think it was like on a show or anything. So this is gonna be a good clip for you here. The internet was originally $1 billion technology in the 80s. It has only been 40 years, and now we carry it in our pockets. So if this technology is $1 billion technology, like in 2020, 2018, that range, 40 years puts it, I'll be about 70. Still a pretty good fucking long time to live my life with a mech suit.
I can already see you in like a pastel mech suit.
It's pink and mint. It's pink and I've already designed it. Are you kidding me? Like
yes.
I just need to find the 3D printer to make it for me. Like but no, like again, and like I'm glad that we were able to have this talk because it's triggered a lot of these things in my brain that are like, yes, these are the things that are worth like trying to make it to the end of COVID for, because Jesus Christ, I don't know if I'm gonna, but we'll keep trying.
You can keep going through it, and you know what? Like if you need to have another talk like this, we can talk like this anytime you want.
Yo, we'll do these pop-ups, and you should come on Tarot Tuesday sometime.
I would love to. Absolutely.
Because especially if you want to like get on Twitch and stuff, that way we can like introduce you to the familia. Ooh. And get you some follows to start off with.
Oh, that'd be fun. I would love to do that.
Yeah. I was started to tell my Twitch story and then I veered off of it because I have ADHD. But I actually started on Twitch just modding for people. And like just being like a hype person, just being in the chat and like getting people talking and like saying hi to everybody and being nice, and like people saw that and were like, hey, you're a really cool person, come on my channel. Unfortunately it led to a little bit of Twitch drama, which it's in the past. There's no bad blood between me and this person, but he is still trash. But also led to like several paid opportunities for like administrative work and like copywriting. I'm also on the board of this really cool nonprofit now. I'm one of their, what do they call them? I don't remember the people who they call them. It's part of the member team of this amazing nonprofit called Teens of Color Abroad, which their whole mandate is to increase the number of students of color enrolled in language programs across the US by encouraging teens to travel abroad to learn languages. Now, obviously, they can't travel right now, so they've pivoted to doing online cultural exchanges. And so they hire Syrian refugees to teach Arabic to these students. And not only Arabic, but like they've done like cooking classes and stuff like that too. Like it's really cute and wholesome and amazing. And I couldn't be happier than to be
Wow.
part of something so like needed. First of all, only 6% of language degrees are held by students of color. 6% of language degrees.
That's a baffling number. Sorry. Yes, no, that is
Anyways,
really.
right? Like it's really it seems ridiculous because like
Yes.
that's their languages, right? They should be
Mhm.
having the degrees in them instead of the white people. Um but not only is it so needed, but like just so lovely. Like they were just recently featured in Teen Vogue for the work that they're
Wow.
doing. They're like, yeah, they're doing such big things. The kids are so wonderful. Like I've gotten to meet a few of them via like Zoom things. Like it's really sweet, really wonderful. I just again, all these things that I talk about out loud that are making me realize that my mental health isn't as bad as I thought it was, or like it is as bad as I thought it was, but like maybe my life isn't.
There are reasons why it's coming around, right? There are ways to turn it around.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh
Oh.
yeah. No, I get that. Like I mean, honestly, not too long before I was supposed to get on this call with you, I was like having a rough day and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like get through this. Like what if I just totally space out partway through and stop being able to talk? Like,
Big same.
yep. But like I mean and I'm learning that as I do more and more of these interviews is just like that's not the case, right? Like,
No,
yeah.
like you start talking and it's just like, hey, it's like catching up
Yeah.
because like we haven't seen each other in like since before forever
Yeah.
because like I like couldn't like I was sick. Like I was so sick for so long. Like I stopped going anywhere. So
Yeah.
and then COVID hit. So like
Who's been anywhere with anyone in ever in any
um
time at all ever? Like it's just
what is time? Where are places?
yeah.
Like all I know is sit in an apartment, drink Coca-Cola, smoke weed and lie. It's fine.
uh,
I'm elder millennial. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, oh my God.
oh
This,
goodness.
by the way, this strain. So my friend not only sent me her bong, like, cause she was like, she was gonna give it to me before I bought a new one, but then like the Tumblr folk, or not Tumblr. Wow, Tumblr. Did I just say that out loud?
Wow,
Jesus.
that's way back.
Yeah. No, it's not. I'm still on there. The Twitch, you won't find me, but I'm on there. The Twitch fam, um, the Twitch fam bought me a bong after my last bong broke. They like fundraised for it and like
Oh.
voted on it and like picked it out for me, and it was a very beautiful bong. And then I dropped it. And I've had it for like 3 weeks, maybe less,
Oh.
because I broke it on New Year's Day. Yeah. Um and then Leia, my friend Leia, who sent me this one, was like, "Oh, I was gonna send you my session bong anyways," and I'm like, "No, keep that. You need." She's like, "I can't smoke inside anymore though, so like I'm not using it. Like you might as well get some use out of it. Like please enjoy it." And I'm like, ah. And then my bong broke today, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, thank you." Like, and then like my friends like they like collaborated to get it to me without have me having to use my brain power because I was like, no,
Oh, I love that.
done. No. I couldn't clean
No
my
power. Do it for
no,
me. Can't do
yes,
it.
can't brain. But also she also sent me So I've been really into this strain. It's called Shred, or not the strain. The strain is Tropic Thunder. The brand is Shred. So it's pre-ground cannabis.
Oh.
So I don't have to like put it in my grinder or like use my hands or anything. But like you usually think when you get pre-ground that it's like shake or like dry ass like bullshit weed, right?
Yeah.
This shit is so sticky. I've been coughing like crazy on it. Like
Whoa.
it's my lungs are coated right now. Like like it's so good. So like shout out Shred. I want to see OCS carries more of their strains, but they've been out of stock. Cause like here's the other thing. It's 7 grams for about $35 tax in. So like a lot of people are like, yeah, that's like
they're on that.
Yeah, it's $5 a gram, of course.
Yeah.
But like next time they re-up on OCS, I'm definitely gonna buy like $100 worth because it's so good. And yeah, she was like, enjoy, and I'm like a whole 7 gram bag, dude.
Just taking care of you,
right? I'm very taken care of. It's true.
Yeah, and no, I've been on the capsules because I can't smoke in my building, and I'm finally starting to figure out like what the right amount is because that's so hard to figure out.
And like if you ever have to change brands, it'll change all over again because they're all fucking different. 2 milligrams in one place is not the same as 2 milligrams as like even with edibles. Like I find like there are some 20 milligram edibles that do fucking nothing for me, and some that'll knock me on my ass. I'm like, I don't understand it. So like,
oh yeah, no, like I took one the other day that's supposed to be like a micro dose. It's not even supposed to be like a full dose of something, right. And I was like laughing my ass off, rolling around on my bed while I was watching a Twitch stream and having a really good time. I was like, this is not a micro dose.
Wow, what a wonderful day. I said that as like I've literally been having the worst day. I don't understand. It's the full moon. We're in Mercury retrograde shadow right now. Mercury retrograde's on the 30th. Like I was due for some cosmic punishment, honestly. Things have been a little too good. And I say that with a grain of salt, as in like too good, as in like I've been coasting. I feel like I've been coasting cosmically a little bit. Like I haven't been really like paying attention or in tune with my body, and I think this is the universe's way of trying to tell me, hey dude, it's time to chill again. Like actually chill, not this fake ass chill you've been telling people you're doing.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it just takes that little push to remind you. So hey, but you know, I think if this evening is going well for you already, then it's proof that, you know, things can go upward, right?
And that's the thing. Sometimes all it takes is just talking it out. Mm-hmm. And just saying the thoughts out loud. And this is again comes back to stop being scared of what people are gonna think of you, because like the people who think you're shitty for saying these things out loud aren't your people anyways. And the people who care are going to care in a positive way, not in a negative way. So, like, fuck people who judge you for it because they're not your people. So why are you trying to impress them? Anyone else is too self-centered that they're not going to fucking notice. The people who care are going to care positively. That's my lesson for you today.
That's a perfect lesson. I think that's a good way to sort of wrap things up. So before we end off here, Aggie, do you want to plug anything? What do you want to?
Sure. I have lots of, you know what? Let me actually just reach around behind me and grab my calendar because it's got all the magic things in it that I am doing. So For February, I have on February 15th, I have the Clowns Kill Empires in Clowns show. And then Tuesday, February 16th on my Twitch channel, I will be doing a special edition stream that we do once every couple of months called Tuck In Time, in which me and my homie Ray Solo read bedtime stories to you to put you to bed. It's quite lovely and adorable. And then we don't have a confirmed date, but Toka Fresh Fridays will be one Friday in February as well. Watch my Instagram for that. I'm sure I will have a post about that soon. So
what's your Instagram handle so people can find you if they don't follow you already?
_Panda. The brand is strong. I'm Aggie _Panda everywhere I go. So Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. I believe that's all my social media. I may have that same account reserved on TikTok, but I don't do TikTok, so don't follow me there.
All right, Aggie, definitely go check all that stuff out. I also auto-host your channel, so anytime you're on Twitch, it will do that because it's one of the few things I've figured out how to set up. So it does that.
Do you know how many people don't know how to do that who have been streaming for like a year now who don't know how to auto-host?
I learn weird things first, I guess.
That's impressive, though. That's awesome. Congratulations, and thank you so much for that.
All right. Thanks so much.
Take care of yourself, my dear.
All right, so that was Aggie Panda. Make sure that you check out everything that they plugged, all their upcoming Twitch streams, as well as their social media, where I'm sure they will announce anything that's upcoming. They're definitely a really talented individual and worth checking out. Make sure you also follow us and interact with us on social media at Sparkling Wine Pod or Sparkle Wine Pod. That's wine with an H on Twitter. You can also find us on Patreon, Sparkling Wine Pod. We've got that pretty much everywhere covered, so give it a look, interact with us, send us some messages, send in your listener questions or comments. I would really love to hear from you guys, hear more about like who you'd like to see as a guest on the show, what you'd like us to talk about, and just if you have any feedback, I'm always down to hear it. I'm sure that you noticed at the beginning of the show that once again, different theme song. I'm just going to keep switching them out until I feel good about it. So, if you've got a suggestion, if you're an artist maybe and you want to submit something, feel free. I'm happy to hear it. I look forward to speaking to you all on the next episode of Sparkling Wine with Dottie Champagne.